We have a star-studded team here today with Mandy, Rebecca, and Deetha. And we welcome Gavin Neal, who is one of our MBA customers, is still talking to us, still laughing at us. So still, there's a smile. So obviously we haven't done that badly on him yet. So I'd like to welcome all of you and make sure that you see this is a very informal session. We'll give you lots of chances to ask questions, but it really is about you. And look, selfish is the new black. It's okay to take care of yourself. That's why they give you the mask in the airplane first before you put it on the munchkins. It's important that you're in charge, that you control your career, that you have a chance to make decisions of where you want to go and choices of where you want to work. And you get those choices when you have the ability to be relevant in more than one area and you become very, very good at what you do. And that's what the MBA helps you to do. On that happy note of knowing what we're going to do here, I will turn you over to Mandy. Mandy, take it away.
Really, the whole idea is for you to improve your career and to increase your knowledge. And we can definitely help you with that. We're going to partner with you. So Massey is renowned actually for the work that we do with our students and how we partner with you as you study. We have a really amazing reputation for academic leadership, for research excellence, and for innovative teaching. And you're definitely going to find that with the online MBA, which is our focus tonight. On the next slide, I want to talk to you a little bit more about what this program offers for you and what we offer. So the MBA will help you to move forward, obviously, but the big thing really is about the impact that it gives you. It's all about impact. So you're going to learn things around sound business practices, about leading yourself and leading others, about critical thinking, about functional knowledge and strategic management skills, cross-cultural understanding, and we're going to ensure that you can really develop your career. And we're actually going to give you a lifelong learning ability, a love for that learning. And the big thing is that you want to know is that it's going to have a really positive impact on you, on your career, and on the organisation that you work for. Remember, the learning just doesn't happen to you, it happens around you so that you can actually bring others with you as you start learning through this process. It's a qualification that's going to give you a toolkit, and you're going to be able to use that toolkit wherever you go. And it will absolutely open your eyes to possibilities. It will give you a broad range of skills that it's going to give you amazing career choices. It might move you from being a specialist to a generalist. And as soon as you're able to do that, you can start moving up the ranks in all different sizes of organisations. The next thing I want to talk to you about is accreditation. So accreditation is our quality stamp. That's what tells you that you are investing in a good program. You might not know what AACSB is. It's an American elite school accreditation. And then AMBA is the Association of MBAs. And that's a British accreditation, but it's actually worldwide. So if you run an MBA, it's really good to have this kind of accreditation, because they make you jump through all kinds of hoops to make sure that it's the best thing for our students, and that's what we like to do. AACSB ranks Massey in the top 5% of global business schools. So there again, you can actually know that there's quality there. The next thing you might be interested in is rankings, where we sit amongst other universities. So here they are listed here. We draw our academic staff from schools within Massey University and from communication and media studies. They're the top 100 in the world. And for accounting and finance, top 250. And we're also ranked, which actually means you're within 1,000 of the 1,000 universities for those other topics as well. For CEO magazine, we're a tier 1. There's a number of tiers, and we're a tier 1. And our online MBA is 11th in the world with CEO magazine. Shanghai rankings, we are number 1 in New Zealand for business administration. So again, you can actually have some confidence in the product that we've got here for you tonight. On the next slide, you can see the MBAs or the products that Massey has here. There are actually two, though there are 3 columns. I can count, so that's okay. The MBA is one program, but it's taught in 2 different modes. One is online and one is full-time. And again, we're going to concentrate tonight on the online offering, and we also have an EMBA. For the MBA, you need to know that it's, all the wonderful things. It's flexible, it's interactive, it has specializations. Your classmates might be from all over the world. So the content is really cool. It's interactive, it's interesting, and it's engaging, and it's actually fun. So it's self-paced, 1 course at a time, no exams, and my lovely colleague Dith is going to talk to you more about that. The full-time program is really immersive. You do 2 courses at a time for that one, and you come into class here in Auckland on a Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday evening. And there are no exams. Same thing, specialisations. We give you work experience, and there's New Zealand market exposure and company visits. The EMBA, the Executive MBA, on the other hand, is weekend taught. Every 6th weekend you come into class. Excuse me, it's face-to-face, it's dynamic, it's engaging, it's challenging, it's all of those amazing things. And it's mainly for New Zealanders from all over New Zealand, and they come into Auckland to learn about the program during the weekend. There's a focus there on leadership and strategy, personal growth and governance. With this program, you can decide whether you want to take the next step of your career and join us. And on that happy note, I'm going to hand over to my colleague Ditha, because she will tell you all about the MBA online.
Thank you, Mandy. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I would like to start off by talking to you about the MBA program and why would an MBA be a great option for you. So if you are someone who's looking to take the next step in your career, to be able to lead a team confidently, to be able to make confident business development decisions, then an MBA program is right for you. You know, if you're someone who's aspiring to take the next step in your career, maybe to a senior management, to start your own business, or move your career, globally, and with confidence, focused on that growth, then you've reached the right place. So on the next slide, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the Massey University MBA. So these are our promises to you with the Massey University MBA. The MBA here puts you in a position to make strategic decisions, to make influential decisions for your business, to be able to problem solve, and of course you're technologically savvy because you're doing this completely online. You know now firsthand how a successful virtual team would work, what would discussions be like if you're online, as well as different tools that we also show you through your journey on the online MBA. So these are our promises to you through the Massey University MBA. Next slide, please. We transfer these skills to you through 10 courses divided into part 1 and part 2 of the program. The first 6 courses that you see really give you a deeper understanding of the different elements that make up a successful business. So when you're making those top level decisions after you've graduated from an MBA, you really have an overall understanding of how this decision may influence different parts of your business. You then have the option, and we are the only the MBA in New Zealand to offer an option of specialization. You do have an option to specialize in either global business or digital transformation if you want to study completely online. And of course, if you would like to come to the campus at Albany, then you can also choose to specialize in business sustainability. The Part 2 of the program is an extremely applied version of the MBA. So the courses you do there really gives you an opportunity to be able to experiment with different business working styles and all with the guided hand of your lecturer. So you really get that opportunity to play around to see what style works best for you, all while working with a real life business problem. So it gives you that opportunity to go out there in the market and say, okay, I've learned all of these skills. Now let's kind of experiment and look at different ways in which we could put this to use. Next slide, please. So through the MBA, you gain confidence and capability, but we also give you the opportunity of extremely flexible MBA. And what this does is that it really works around your full-time job, your family life, and just kind of is easily incorporated into that life. And we do this by having only 2 hours of Zoom sessions over a 7-week period for each course that you study. And it's all after working hours New Zealand time, which is all after 6 p.m. New Zealand time. You also have an opportunity to discuss your questions with your lecturers and your peers as you're going through these Zoom sessions. You also get to do your assessments and your study group work all in the 7-week period, which only totals up to be about 20 hours of study workload per week as you're going through the MBA. So again, very, very flexible. We also have a 24-hour learning platform available to you, which allows you to study at your own pace. We've got students who like to study early in the morning, get up before the family does and complete their hours of study, or, put everybody, make sure everybody's settled in and gone to sleep, and then they start their studies late in the night or during their lunch breaks at work as well. So different ways in which you could complete that study per week. The MBA is also been designed to keep in mind that you're going to be working full time. So it gives you an opportunity to take maybe questions, concerns that you might have in your job back into the classroom, and then take solutions from the classroom back into work almost immediately. So an immediate return on investment that you see there with the online MBA. So we're extremely flexible. We have a learning platform that's available to you 24 hours. And we've got this amazing technology, which we're going to talk to you about shortly. But we've also got the opportunity for you to incorporate this really easily into your life. We do have 3 intakes per year. Again, flexibility. We got March, July, and November. And of course, we've got our upcoming intake, November 2023. So we would love to see all of your applications come through for that intake. And on the next slide, I just want to talk to you a little bit about the kind of technology that we use. And the next slide, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about who you see in class, as well as a few timelines that you might like to know. So the online MBA, owing to the flexibility that we have on the program, can range anywhere between 18 months and can go up to about 5 years to complete. So you can pick and choose to say, this time doesn't work for me because, there's something that's happened. I would like to pause my study and come back in 2 months' time. And we can give you a schedule that can work around what your requirements are. Of course, with the online MBA, we encourage 360-degree learning, which means that you learn from various different parts around. You of course learn from your work, and then you bring any questions in, so you kind of take that back. You also learn from your lecturers, who we like to call pracademics, because they're practicing academics. And you also learn from your peers. And that's mostly because you've got like-minded peers in your class. So you've got a typical MBA class would have about an average work experience of about 15 years, but that ranges from the minimum of 3 and it goes up to about 36, 47 years as well. Got an average age of about 38. Again, that ranges from 27 and goes up to 64 years as well. One that really jumps out is the 62% of our students have actually had improved roles during their MBA. So this isn't after they've completed the program, but while they're studying their MBA, they've been able to walk in with confidence to get improved roles. With that, I would now like to hand it over to Rebecca.
Kia ora, everyone. As Deetha has shown, the return on the investment for students studying their Massey MBA, it's been proven by those great statistics that show those improved roles, career advancement, both during and after MBA studies for their students. So as you can see here, we've got some real life examples of how this has happened for our students. So you can see how the online MBA has suited each of their individual circumstances and professional development goals separately, such as for Michelle. She says it provided her the flexibility, the interaction, and the practical application that could be applied in her work the very next day, whilst of course also building her confidence. You'll see Elizabeth enjoyed gaining the knowledge and skills to understand the power of strategy and driving transformational change. And Toby was promoted twice since he started his MBA, and he's been a key part of instigating meaningful change amongst his teams and the greater business of PepsiCo. Now, studying your MBA online with Massey as a domestic student, you can see here the fees comes to around $46,300 in 2024. Now, that's not including non-tuition fees. This does include your textbooks, which are provided as ebooks, and your study materials, and is for the whole 180 credit program, studying part-time over 2 years. So just to give you an idea, the non-tuition fees work out to about 675 New Zealand dollars if you're studying 90 credits in the year. And as a domestic student, you can also pay for your courses as you enroll, for example, semester by semester. And it can also be possible to use StudyLink for a student loan to help cover that investment for those who are eligible. If you are a domestic student studying offshore, the fees work out a little bit cheaper. And for international students studying offshore, for example, from your home country, the tuition fees are around $51,500 in 2024 for the 180 credit program, plus those non-tuition fees. Now, as an international student, studying your MBA online would enable you to study part-time whilst continuing to work full-time offshore. Now, an added bonus for studying the Massey MBA is that we offer MBA awards. Now, these are worth $2,000 each, and when you apply, your application will be automatically assessed for eligibility for 1, 2, or even 3 of these. So they can accumulate for a maximum award of $6,000 and are awarded for those who have achieved a grade point average in their bachelor's degree of at least an A- and or have 5 or more years of relevant work experience and or have completed a recognised master's degree in addition to holding an undergraduate bachelor's qualification. Now, speaking of academic excellence, I would now like to introduce you to our guest speaker this evening, Gavin Neal. Now, Gavin started his online MBA in March 2022 and is now in his final courses, gearing up to complete his MBA at the end of the summer semester.
Hi, 18 months ago, I was sitting where you are now, and I made my choice to do my MBA. Now I hear you asking me, where does this lead to? The stereotypical executive or businessman? I personally don't fit into that stereotype, being gay and dyslexic. Therefore, I think the better question is, what can we bring to the table? I know I bring an ability to approach a problem from a wide range of perspectives, but I also have the humility to seek knowledge from others who know more than me. And I have a respect for diversity because diverse opinions make for stronger decisions. I've built up a toolbox of knowledge and skills that can help with the most common situations in business. But I have an awareness of how to find new solutions to novel problems. I guess the ultimate question for me is whether I would recommend the Massey MBA, and I would, because it's world-class, academic, yet very practical. It showcases online excellence. It is convenient and ultimately very empowering. So the first question is, why did I choose to do an MBA as opposed to another master's? I guess my reason was simply due to the respect people have for those three letters. But I didn't know why the MBA inspires so much respect. Now I know that those letters are earned through lots of hard work, stretching myself and doing mental gymnastics while balancing work and family. Those letters represent the strength and dedication towards self-improvement and growth. I know after getting to this point where the end is in sight, I will respect anyone who completes this journey and gains those three letters. So the next question is, why Massey? Simply because their online course is convenient. I was accepted at another university, and I simply chose Massey because of the convenience and flexibility. I feel it facilitated my change from education to a startup biotech company, biomanufacturing a new type of biodegradable plastic. And this has allowed me to apply a large range of the tools I've learned in the course. Thanks for listening to my thoughts and experience, and back over to you, Rebecca.
Thank you so much, Gavin. I'm sure that our students just love to be able to hear the real life scenario from a student. So thank you for sharing your experience with us. Now we would like to hear from our practitioner, academic, Professor Jens Müller. Jens, your turn, please.
Well, thank you very much, Gavin, and that's a hard act to follow. You did very, very well. There are really three questions that most people ask when they have decided to join a session here, because you're not here because of an accident. You're here because you want some tools to move forward. The first is, do I really have to go to university? And the second is, why Massey? And the third then, is there a chance I can fail? Because that wouldn't be a good thing, would it? After you tell your family, your friends, and everybody at work what you do, and then we kind of boot you out the back door. So let's do question one. Do you really have to go to university? No one gives their friend a birthday party at a university. We don't have many people accidentally stroll in because it's such a fun place to be and you just want to hang out with people at the university. This is a big bureaucracy, and it is something that scares most people. But the reality is that most of you will have good years of work experience. You expect that when the next job comes up, the next promotion is available, that because of that work experience, you get that next job. And then some Mickey Mouse runs by you fast speed with a piece of paper in hand and says, I've got the MBA, I've got the MBA, and they get the job. Because in many cases at the levels where you will be interviewing, people who look at you are risk adverse themselves. They don't want to be held accountable later on for bringing somebody up through the ranks without having good justification for that. And if you have good work experience, that doesn't really do it. Your parents, my parents, easily lived their whole life, did their career, what they liked, with probably not even a bachelor degree. And now we need to perform, and that requires that higher degree. So you have limited choices as you move forward, because some of the tools that people expect you have just aren't in your tool chest. The second part is why Massey, and some of the speakers just touched on that already. We're the only shop in the country that has been able to blend a very high academic standing, best ranked university internationally, among all the New Zealand ones without a medical school. So we are high there on the academic register, but we blended that with practice. In every course that you get from us, there will be a practitioner, somebody who does this every day at work, show up and participate in the teaching. It's good for the networking. It's good for you to know what's actually happening with people that have to practice those skills. And so this is much more like a meeting with managers and their CEO in the boardroom than students and professor in the classroom. It is like work. It is practical. The assessments, there are no exams at the end. The assessments are practical consulting reports and reviews, what companies do, and a number of other things that you would do every day at work. So it's quite easily manageable. And Massey is famous for having been able to do a very practical spin on high academic value, and you will leave with something, a 240 credit, 180 credit for the MBA qualification that is known everywhere, but it will feel to you like you just went to work. 10 weekends, 15 months for the EMBA, every 7 weeks a new course for the MBA. You're ending up with something that is absolutely manageable because you know how to manage work. And the last one is, are you able to fail? Well, yeah, if you really set your heart to it, you'd have to work harder on failing than on passing. I've done this since 1987, and probably before some of you were born. And so I can, on the fingers of my both hands, count the number of people who have not been able to keep up with the academics. It is virtually impossible. We tell you what to do. The group in each course is there to help you, and you help them. So people push each other through, and it's a one-stop train. You're bored when you start the MBA, you finish, what next stop when you're done. There is nothing you have to do in terms of making up your own schedule. We help you through. There's enormous learning support. And ultimately, there is this desire that you share with the others to get this done. And the people you see here, Rebecca, Mandy, and Deetha, and then some others in the background, we're the only group in the whole university that has, kind of concierges for you. We do make sure that everything goes well for you. We know you as a student, and we only select about 1 out of 3.5 applicants. So when we pick you, you know you're in the right place, and we will take care of you. So speaking about taking care of you, I'll hand it back to Mandy.
Now on the slides here, it'll show you some of the other things that we've got here for you, and I'm not going to run through them all, but I just want to highlight a couple for you. You do not need to be concerned at all about the support because there's just so much of it available for you. The first one is the Centre of Learning Success. They have huge amounts of resources on how to write an essay, how to answer questions, how to do well in a test, how to reference, all kinds of information that you can actually start looking at before you even enroll. But one of the beautiful things that they do, which we absolutely love, is a thing called the pre-reading service. So you can put in an assessment, they will critique it for you, send it back to you, and you can change and make those changes before you actually submit it. So you have the best possible chance of doing well with your assessment. Jens said that the MBA office is a big asset for you. We have people who are dedicated to look after you, and that is a little bit unusual at universities now. But some of the things that we run for those that are math phobic, don't worry, we've got a math refresher that you can do. You can just start reacquainting yourselves with math, and we've also got people that can help you with that if you're still struggling. The Career Accelerator, we're going to try and push your career forward. That's why you're here. And so we're going to try and move you to the next role with things like online presence, your personal branding, and upskilling for executive interviews. The last one I want to talk to you about is the mental gym. And that's almost a try before you buy product that we have. And we haven't started them yet, but we will start them in October. They're available for the MBA and the Executive MBA. These are sessions that you have a chance to meet classmates before you actually sign up. And you can also see our style, the way we teach and how we engage with our students and how practical we can make it. And on that lovely document that I've harped on about before, in there, it gives you the link for the mental gym. And as the new ones come up, you'll be able to see them and we'll be in touch with you and let you know what the schedule is. On the next slide, there's a picture here of some of our graduates. This could be you. These could be you. These are people who sat in the same chairs that you're sitting in now and decided that they were going to invest in themselves and in their career. As Yen said, look, once you apply and we accept you, then we know that you can be successful. That's the rigorous testing that we're going to do before you start, the conversations we're going to have with you about that. If you invest in yourself, then I suggest that you talk to your family, to the people that you work with, and use every single resource that you can find. And there'll be people at work who'll be able to help you with this journey, and they will come along with you and they will learn with you. So don't let fear take hold of you and say, look, I can't possibly do this. Give it a shot. What's the worst thing that can happen? You do one course at a time, one step at a time. And as I say, we're there to support you all the way.
Thank you, Mandy. Gosh, that was a lot of information that we shared with you. I've seen two questions for Gavin already. There's also another question to talk a little bit about your time management and what advice you have.
I guess I'm lucky with being dyslexic in some ways because I learn faster through listening. And there's audio book or the textbooks we have you can listen to them or read them. And I find them really good to listen to when you're driving or on the train commuting. And that improved the efficiency of my study time a lot.
Thank you. Just a follow up from that. What would an average week look like for you when you had the MBA going as well as work?
Usually I'd try to do the readings. I'd listen to them on the way to work on the train. So I'd get in an hour of readings each way or each day, half an hour each way. Okay. And then I would be working on the assignments lecture was 2 hours once a week. And then depending on it would take me about, say, 7 hours preparation before the lecture to get ready for it. And then I'd be spending another, depending on the assignment, another 10 hours a week working on assignments. That one depended a lot on the stage we were at because I just like to get them done as early as possible. So I figure make hay while the sun shines and I'd work harder and then have a break.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Gavin. I really appreciate your time there. Jens, we've got a few questions here for you. Would you be able to give us a few examples of some guest lecturers or business leaders that we have invited on the program?
Oh God, where do I start? Look, these are usually two different types of people. We had CEO from ANZ, for instance, a number of people who are very high up in their organizations so that we can showcase to students what, from a long-term visionary perspective, people want in terms of talent in their firm. But quite often, it's also people that operate, the manager of the port, the CEO of a large hospital, some people who every day make hiring decisions about new talent they bring in from an operational level so that you can see both sides of the coin. Most of you are operators. Some of you may already have scratched into the leadership space a little bit, but most would actually want to become leaders in their industries or in an area in which you can make a difference. And so it's good to hear from both. The way we do that is that either those executives come in by Zoom, if it's an online class, the MBA online. If it is an MBA that is handled in classroom, face-to-face time, then they come into the classroom. Look, if somebody's dialing in from overseas, we had the CFO from Visit California, a $1 billion organization that brings tourists into California. He connects by Zoom into the class. So we bring people in from all over the world. HSBC, the head of venture capital out of Hong Kong, dials in. So we have people that give you the chance to see how you apply every single day what you learn, and therefore it becomes relevant.
Thank you, Jens. Just another question for you, Jens. Can you tell us more about the career progression advice that was mentioned during the session?
Yeah, that's it. Look, it's a big thing because you're not the 18, 19, 20-year-old bachelor student who still has to find how to tie his shoes. This is a group of people who absolutely have career goals, know exactly what they want. So we do a number of things. One is that we start you out with a good CV, making sure that the CV is well done and fits. We talk about interview preparation, and we clearly also talk about experiences that people who have just been hired can feedback, so that you have a chance to see what currently employers want, how they interview you, what they're looking for, and also making sure that you have the self-confidence to present. Some of you, you know the term, don't want to talk about how sweet their kumara is. So you have people who believe that just being there will send all the right signals, but you have to make sure you're not a best kept secret. You have to be able to talk about what you have accomplished. And we make sure that both in the classes where we set people up to do mock interviews, it is also done outside as extra counseling.
I would like to hand it back to Jens.
Well, Tanakura Katoa, and thank you for coming in. Again, you're here because you just have this itching feeling that either something's missing or something that you want to do, and you're kind of like in the starting blocks, and somebody will have to do the bang, and everybody goes off, and you actually off to the races doing something for yourself, for the family, for the community, and ultimately so that you take control of what you can accomplish in the future. New Zealand is a small country. We focus a lot on what's happening outside the country, and most of our programs are very much focused on global success as well. Your choices are pretty much limited only by your imagination. And once we give you the tools and the networking that you get through a national program like this, you will be well set in order to make your mark. And we look forward to having you in class